gonna start actually with one thing that I noticed the other day. Over here, if you see, this module reaches all the way to the end of the mills plate, which actually shouldn't be like that. It should leave two studs over here, four up to here, and then one stud over here. That's why I have these tan tiles here, just to remind me, but I ignored it for some reason because I need this space like here to overlap with the courtyard. Part of the courtyard wall goes on top of this, and I simply forgot. So have to fix that and shorten it by, well, one stud. There we go. That actually didn't take long. Now we have this space here, one stud, and then two studs here for four studs. That will align perfectly with the courtyard as it was before. I might end up changing it again, but it was like that before, and I would like to keep it this way. Now, while I was doing that, I was wondering maybe the next thing I should focus on is to find various ways to improve this a little bit, especially here in this section where the two trees used to be, one here and one here. Now it's kind of empty to me. Over here it's a bit better. Maybe just the plants are a bit more clustered together, and here this is not the case. I think I might just see what I have in the boxes when it comes to flowers and trees and all sorts of pieces to build this kind of things. So maybe I will focus on that. We'll see. Here is something that we've not seen in quite a while. The side building, which I made, well, months ago really. And I decided I should maybe focus on this and transforming it, at least putting the groundwork to place this sort of texture on it. Now, it was often within my ponderings if I should modify this. I know there are various techniques where you can make a circular building, but most of them rely on various methods where you put around a made circle inside, which really makes the interior non-existent really. And for me, any building within this scale that doesn't have any interior, just looks nice from the outside, is a very, very bad idea, and I really dislike such type of builds. So in my opinion, I'm, for the time being at least, going to stick to this kind of model where you make a proper shape with these angles on all sides. So I think I'm just going to focus on converting this into something like this. One thing I want to do, I think, is make this roof a bit taller, which I probably will not make this time, but there's something that needs to be modified. And by the way, in case you haven't noticed, I believe that I made some more changes to the middle tower. I've added these pieces here just to recreate as best as possible this type of thinning into the upper section. It's a bit better than before. Now, if you compare the height of this tower, which is the same as this one, to the height of the middle tower, I would say the comparisons should be a little bit more, well, closer to what it should be. And now, once this is maybe transformed into more angular shape, these circular bricks will be just 2x2s perhaps. We'll see how that works out. One thing I would like to do, again mentioning that I would like to move this point up to here-ish and make this angle, it should be a bit sharper and a bit upwards really compared to what it is now. I really feel like getting it up to here would make it a little bit more honoring the source material. But yeah, for the time being, let's focus on this and just see if I can transform it keeping it relatively the same, I believe, but with the texture. Hopefully I can do that relatively quickly. All right, so obviously, as usual, this took quite a bit longer than I thought it would be, but it was very important to place the groundwork for the texture. As you can see, I have placed some of the first level of textures and somewhere there is no texture. That is because I am planning to place some, try to place some kind of vines on one or two places along the walls. Something that I had done partially before in the previous model with some very basic plant pieces here and there. Now I want to do something a bit more complicated, but I fear there won't be enough time for this. But that's why I haven't really placed everything, and the first layer is placed here and there. Also, I would like to summarize that the form of the building is exactly the same. The ratio is the same, the curves and all the way the studs go around to simulate a circle, a circular shape, I was trying to say, are exactly the same, and the roof has not changed. Looking at it now, I would prefer maybe to raise the roof a little bit up to here. I will see if it's a good idea to simply increase the height or change this model, although I remember that I spent quite a long time trying to make this to look fitting to the building itself. So I am assuming it will just increase in height, as this was the optimal thing that I had come up with at the time, and I have no other ideas for the time being. One thing you might notice is here the ground is missing. That is because I really wanted to fix the last problem that I had with this building, is to be able to slide it on top of this, and then for the difference to reach the table. Before that wasn't really possible because we had the base plates and the way to do it wasn't really proper, but now basically this is fixed with the floor basically starting from over here, and this is just empty layout. It was very nice to do that, with the door really being 2 or 3 bricks above the table height, and obviously it's just above, slightly above the height of the path over here. Need to make sense. As for the interior, it is pretty much exactly the same as it was before, with the positioning of everything the same. I have changed slightly a few things, but things are pretty much the same inside. One thing that I did add on compared to before was that I placed a layer of dark bluish gray plate just where the floor is supposed to be. This way the tan doesn't come underneath these various tiles. It just used to bother me before. Similar to here, we see the green coming underneath, which makes sense, as there is it's logical for grass to come in between the rocks, but over here it kind of bothered me, so I used this opportunity to really fix that. And actually the pattern of the floor is exactly the same. I took a picture of the floor when before taking it apart in the old building, and I placed every tile the same way, in the same position, which I thought was going to be very tedious, but it ended up being kind of fun actually. So yeah, everything here is pretty much the same. We have the drawers, we have Mrs. Norris Filch, the confiscated items, some bags, various equipment to clean, the chains, of course, this clock that I made back then, a whip, some other things that you might be able to spot here and there. And yeah, all in all, I'd say that inside here there isn't really much to do. I would maybe add some more detail, mainly on the upper sections of the walls. Other than that, I feel like this is fine. Now the building does look a bit rough still, but this will all change once all the texture is applied. The windows too are the same, and the intervals that were placed before are the same. This is what the building looks like, placed in its appropriate spot. I was planning maybe to change the dimensions of the building, but as this section here is now longer, it actually fits better with this scaling, so I decided to keep it the same. This building should kind of stick a little bit from this section here, if you see, and up to here, so its width is pretty much as I would like it to be. It will go a bit wider with the final texture pieces, and the roof already mentioned that should be maybe up to here. So all in all, I would say that this is an improvement of what it was before. Would really like to see this thing all decorated with this texture. I might be able to do that at least up to 90% for next time. But for the time being, I'm really glad to get this out of the way. Things like that always take a bit of time and are a bit tedious to do, but they have to be done in order for this whole thing to come together. And here is the end result of this video's building session. Pretty glad with the result. Really wanted to maybe finish completely the first layer of texture on the side building, but actually really glad that I managed to destroy the old thing and place all the interior as it was before, and really keep the whole thing together relatively quickly. Took me a couple of sitting sessions to do everything, but end of it all, I feel like it was time well spent. I feel like I will keep modifying the tower a little bit as I get different ideas how to improve it. And yeah, it's all coming together nicely. Still a lot to do. Obviously, this is the kitchens and the Hufflepuff entrance, which I would like to place back into the building. Hopefully next time under here. Also, I will be probably placing all the tiling underneath over here, the pathway, and also underneath the Great Hall. That will take some time. It will be pretty tedious, but with some music on, hopefully it will be not that much of a chore. And this is where the old plants from the old building, I just placed them there because I would like to maybe use some of those pieces on the new building. We'll have to decide first how exactly am I gonna probably change the different plants that are going around the walls, but that's for next time. So yeah, pretty much that is all from me for today. Once again, thanks for watching. If you like to keep up with this project, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting, as it really helps this channel. Once again, I will see you again in the next 10 to 14 days with yet another update, probably once again on the Hogwarts Castle. Stay healthy, happy building, and see you guys later. Bye.